For Platypus, episode 3, and the first 2 episodes have been fantastic. We've gotten great reception from the community, and community, I very much thank you for it. So welcome back, episode 3, for Platypus. How are you today, man?
I'm doing good. My eyes are dilated and I just got out of the shower, so you might see me squinting a lot. But it's not because like I'm struggling to hear. It's just like I'm looking at something on my screen and I can't read it right now.
You,
But I've had a great day. It was my birthday yesterday. I'm
happy
now
birthday.
33. Thank you very much. And I got to spend time with my girlfriend and my best friend. It's been a 10 out of 10 week for me.
Oh, nice. You know what, chat? If there's 2,000 of you watching this video, I want 2,000 happy birthday per platypuses and 2,000 new subscribers over on his channel. Like, give him the birthday love, please.
Yeah, we will be keeping track
Yes,
as
we're
well.
counting.
For yeah. I don't want to say what we'll do, but let's just say consequences if you don't follow through. All
Exactly,
right.
exactly. So you left us off with 2 cliffhangers that I have been thinking about all week, and I think this has been my most excited of our 3 podcasts. I thought it would be the first one, but you had my wheels turning. And so we're going to talk about one first, and then we're going to kick into the other one. And the first one I really want to talk about is you said, you had thoughts around the 50-50 banner and why it's either potentially better for you than the 110, or maybe perhaps that the 110 is just overhyped in comparison. I guess you could look at that a couple different ways. So I want to pick your head on that. Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah. So the 110 banner and the 50-50 banner, I think it's like very clear that each of them are good at something. Although you could argue that they're both bad. But the idea is like they each have different benefits. I think it's clear if you run the math. I mean, I used a calculator in Chat GPT. I don't have the exact numbers, but basically it seems like you're expected to get like a legend, the specific 5-star you want, and something like 94 pulls on the 110 banner. And you're
Mm,
obviously, there's a hard guarantee at 110.
yep.
Whereas the 50-50, I think it's something like 96, 98 pulls expected on average. But if you're on the bad end of average, it's going to cost you up to 160 pulls, so 50 more pulls. But on the average, it's not actually saving you that much. So the 110 is really good because everyone is on the bad end of RNG at some point where you're just going to hard pity for something,
Yep.
that sucks. So the 110 is definitely good for people managing their resources to get very specific units if you want precision on your account. However, I really think people tend to undervalue the flexibility of the 50-50
Mm,
where you're at one, if in case you don't know, when we go to the 110, assuming that we will, it goes down to a 0.2% 5-star rate. That's I think that's literally the lowest I've ever heard of in a gotcha game. I'm sure there is lower. Every time I say something is the most something, someone's like, "Well, did you ever play this one game from 58 years ago that had a bad rate?" I'm like,
yeah.
"Okay,"
Bikini
but
Japanese girls, the fifth or something like that. It's
yeah,
got, yeah.
exactly, something like so. But it goes down to 0.2%, whereas currently we have, I think it's the 0.4%, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to get more 5-stars on the 50-50 banner in general, and that's pretty good actually. Just getting more, legendary units and getting dupes of more units is good. It really sucks when you do eventually get that Awakening 7 dupe,
Oof.
Awareness 7 dupe. That feels very bad. But for most people, they don't really have to worry about that for a very long time.
Yeah.
So your account is just much more flexible, and in my opinion, has much more fun to it. If you don't have to hold for 6 months and then get one new character, whereas if you kind of just pull and you just get a bunch of different characters, even if they're not exactly what you want, I think that adds a lot of gameplay. Plus, sometimes you get a character you didn't plan on using, but you're like, well, heck, I guess I'm gonna use this team now because now
Hmm.
I don't know, I got a Haruna or whatever. I got a Marion on the general banner, even though I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefits to the 50-50 that I don't want people to just ignore, and when that goes away, like we are losing something as well.
Yeah, and I think and it's one of those, not too many people are going to want to sit around and run the statistics on it. I get it. I'm a math guy. Like, it's kind of boring to sit there and run statistics on gotcha game banner rates. But on the 110, you do get the extra 165 when
Yeah.
every time you get to 165, you basically get a randomized 5-star standard unit. You never can luck into a different limited unit. Like, that just doesn't exist. And so you might accidentally pull a Marion or a Riddle if you're unlucky, but that can happen on the loss of the 50-50 as well. But you're right. Like the rates between the two are very similar, and I think that it just gets blown up because there are times when someone will absolutely hit the 160 pity. I think that, quite a few people have commented on my videos like, hey, I hit this, it felt bad. I did it 2 in a row because I did it for Joker, I did it for Yui. And I personally, on KR, have had it happen a couple times where I went to back double pities on a particular banner. But you are right. You end up getting that consolation prize in whatever you lose. And hopefully it's something you want, but you can't guarantee it. And I think a lot of the dislike of it is for two things. I think one, people kind of had this expectation of the 110 is going to be here on day one, which nothing really set us up. I love when I see you squint. Nothing ever set us up to actually assume that that should have been there. Like there was no dev announcement. There was nothing in beta that showed that, when we saw like the other streamers have the game early. And so I think that was a little bit of us as a community, like wanting something that wasn't real yet. And then I think it's just people, we get strong feelings in Gacha games. And anytime you lose a 50-50 beat for a weapon or a character, your body just goes into that like worst case scenario. I'm going to lose it every single time. And this is the worst gaming system ever. And so I think that drives quite a bit of it.
100%. But like, also it is just weird to see so many people want a system, even though it's maybe mathematically slightly better and it has less feel bads, but it's like, it literally halves the rate of the amount of, like it goes from 0.4% to 0.2%.
No, it's
that's
from
a
0.8 to 0.2. It's worse than half.
0.8 to 0.2. Sorry, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
You're gonna just get less characters in general. And I may, again, I'm a different kind of player. I build my account, right? I like my account to be horizontally strong more than vertically strong. Like I don't really care about having an awareness 6 Joker. I care about having an awareness 0 everybody.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think the 50-50 is pretty beneficial because I'll accidentally get awareness copies or other characters that I wasn't targeting. This is like what it's like for the weapon banner for me, right? Where it's like, I would, if they released a banner, we'll just use characters, but hypothetically, if they released a Rin banner with platinum tickets, I would not spend any platinum tickets on the Rin banner because she's a general pool unit, right? It's like, I got to save for the limited units. But if I'm pulling for Joker and I got Rin, I'm like, hell yeah, man. I'm still excited about it. So again, I think they both have their benefits. I think the 110 is probably better for a lot of things, but also like I cannot deny if you are a gambler, which most of us are not maybe inherently gamblers, but we're gacha gamblers, there is a much less excitement value when you see that you're getting a legend and it's guaranteed.
Yes.
Then you just like skip to the end. When you see that it's rainbow and you don't know, you have one more like 50-50. Do we got it? Like that, there's so much more like an addiction value to it, which I'm not saying is inherently a good thing, but I am saying there are whales who are addicts, and there are gambling addicts, and that kind of stuff is pretty important to drive revenue as well. So I don't know. I guess what I'm coming down on is like they're both fine in their own ways, but I think people are too mad to have the 50-50 and too gung-ho like this 110 will fix every problem in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, I did the Yui pull stream, whatever it was, a week or whenever she came out ago, and it was honestly some of the most fun I had because I moved on from her and I ended up going for Minami. And I remember it was like in the first 10 pull on Minami, I think, or maybe the second, and I got the 5-star, but you're right, I didn't know who it was. And I remember joking with chat and I'm like, I'm gonna pull Riddle.
Yeah,
and sure as hell, it was freaking Riddle.
I was in the chat. I was watching. I was like, if he gets this Marion in the first multi, bro, I'm not showing up to the podcast next week. That's it. Like, I'm sorry.
But you're right. Like the excitement of not knowing to some extent was fun. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm not telling people to like gamble everything and things like that. I don't want that to be the message here. But you are right. I think there is a measure of fun when you don't know, as long as you are okay with the results. And I think for me, and then I think we'll switch topics into the other really exciting one. I think for me, I am here to have fun, and I just don't let the nonsense or not nonsense, but the noise distract me from the fun. If I pull a riddle, I pull a riddle. If I pull another freaking Tomoko, okay, I pulled my 5th copy of Tomoko or 6th at this point, I forget. It's not going to destroy my account. I'm not going to quit the game for that. And honestly, this game just doesn't have the kind of challenge or like PvP scope that I'm going to feel like I have a bad account if I don't get a certain character, even if it's the top meta one that everyone's going to recommend.
Bro, it's like every time something comes out, it's the issue with all gotcha kind of communities in
Hmm.
general, and it's not the whole community, but it's a subset where it's just like they're meta brained. You know,
Yeah.
everything is like, oh, if you don't get Futaba, your account is bricked. You're gonna have to re-roll your account. You know, it's like, oh, and this is, I'm not even joking. This, I see this happen. Someone's
Hmm.
like, day one, they're like, well, I'm saving for Barry. She comes out in a year and a half or
I
a
see
year.
comments
I
about that.
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna save till Barry because she's so good. And then you know, a month later, they're like, I'm not having any fun with this game. This game's
Hmm.
not fun at all. And then they drop it. It's like, well, it's because you never pulled anything. You're using closer for every fight in the game. It's like there's a point where it's like, yes, you're saving, but like you gotta have some fun too. And
Yeah.
fun can be pulling, but also just character variety. Being able to use different characters and different teams adds flavor and spice into
Hmm.
the battles, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I had somebody ask, could they beat all the content if they saved for Violet to get an A6 Violet and weapon when she comes out? I'm like, well, first of all, that's like 9, 10 months from now, something in that neighborhood. I was like, you
Yeah.
still will have enough currency to pull other people in that time frame. And I don't assume you're going to lose every single 50-50 on the way to Violet for every single thing that you do. I was like, but like why? Like, do you really want to run
Yeah.
just the regular team? And then no, you can't do all of Velvet Trials. No, you're gonna can't you can't do certain challenges like on the train where you need two of a certain unit. And like it, I mean, if that's your sense of fun, have at it. But I think people are also overhyping these A6s like they're the second coming of like the best meta ever. But those same A6s are still going to be the ones that you have to replace when the next unit comes out to hit whatever score threshold is on their guild boss or whatever you want to call it. And so, as meta as they are, most of those units still have their main time to shine and then they kind of phase out and another new unit will come out.
Yeah. It's just
Just gotcha.
I don't know. People get too focused on that kind of, but that's something that's happened in every game I
Hmm.
play,
Hmm.
which is why I've been always like kind of an anti-meta guy where I use units that aren't meta. That's why I'm so excited for Fox because everyone's like, oh, Fox is this guy's a tier 6 piece of crap. I wouldn't even if I accidentally pulled and got him, I'd have to reroll my account. Like I'm like, well, just watch, man.
Yeah.
Fox is gonna kick ass. I'm
I
gonna
am
make him
hyped
kick
for
ass.
Fox. I
Um,
cannot wait for Fox. All right.
But
So,
yeah, I'm just saying, just have fun,
yeah.
people. Have fun.
Yes. Yes.
Use
Yes.
your polls sometimes. You don't need to save up for an A6 something a year from now. You know, who
Yeah.
knows if
Yeah.
you'll even want to play the game a year from now.
Well, and it's so much, I think, and I guess this will be my last point on it, but it's so much more fun too to go in it with an expectation of I'm going to make things work and enjoy what I'm doing and kind of puzzle solve. Like Persona's a lot of puzzle solving. Like, how do I get this
Mhm.
weakness and buff it up and everything else? And it's just, I don't know. I think that's part of the charm of this game. But you had another topic that, the one I really, really, really wanted to get into. And this was the game is both the greediest game in Gacha and potentially the most free to play friendly in Gacha, or very free to play friendly, if not quite to that level. And so again, like I want to lead off with your thoughts here. What drives that statement?
Yeah, people, I don't know why they think these are mutually exclusive when it's so obvious. I guess it sounds like an oxymoron when you say it, because free to play and greedy. But the whole point is you can clear all the content in the game
Hmm.
without spending a dime, right? They give you closer, they give you soy, you have the protagonist, they give you Mont. I think you have to get Mont as part of the tutorial, and you're just gonna get pulls. You're gonna get 5 stars like Ann and
Yep.
Ryuji and that kind of stuff just by playing. And honestly, the content is not that hard. I don't want to go as far as to say it's easy because I know there are people that struggle with it for different reasons. But even if you get to a palace boss and you
Hmm.
lose, you can lower the difficulty, right? The game is just incredibly free to play friendly. They're going to allow you to at least take part in every bit of content
Yep.
currently in the game. That whether from guild battles to palaces, mementos, there's nothing that you're locked off of
Yep.
from doing as free to play. And that's awesome. I love that. And the characters they give you, like Soy, absolutely badass.
I love Zoe.
But the game is so unbelievably greedy from what I've come to expect, especially after coming off of something like Etheria Restart,
Hmm.
which of course has its own problems for all kinds of reasons. But it's like when I say it's greedy, I mean when you spend $1, you don't get a good dollar of value out of that, right? You spend
Oh
a
yeah.
$100, you don't get that much for that $100. For $0, you get a lot. For $100, you don't get that much more. Is the whole
Yeah.
premise behind it? I mean, we could break down each individual aspect of why it's so greedy. From the shop being, the shop is not literally the worst shop I've seen. I have seen worse shops, but it is one of the worst shops I've seen in terms of its size and its
Hmm.
options. The character banners are relatively expensive. They have two currencies. Like the last game I played, there was just one poll currency, or one of the last games I played, I think it was sort of Convallaria. There was just one poll currency, but you pulled on one banner or the other banner. This one has a special color ticket for the premium banners,
Hmm.
and then has another color ticket for like the bad polls. Then it also has a weapon banner, and the weapon banner also has like a 50-50 on it,
Yep.
and it also has, it's not a generic weapon, it's a weapon for a specific character. So it's not like sort of Convallaria where you pull a weapon that's an axe and I'm like, well, this isn't best in slot for whatever my Guzman, but it's better than whatever I was using, so let's put this axe on Guzman.
Oh yeah.
This is Fox's weapon. If you have to put it on Fox. You don't get any other value out of it other than when Fox is using it. So I mean, that's not even all of it.
Hmm.
That's not even all
Hmm.
of it. The fact the awarenesses are so powerful, right?
Yes.
The dupes are incredibly potent. They're different characters, different levels of, that as well. Your stamina refreshes are pretty expensive gem wise. They only give you 60 stamina. They
Hmm.
don't give you full refreshes. I mean, you can kind of go on and on. Every time they have a choice to make something more greedy and just barely good enough to accept, it's like they really, really keep it in the most ungenerous side possible,
For sure.
um, for what you're getting. And
Yeah.
despite that, I'm loving the game. But
Well,
so I want to end on a positive note there.
yeah. Well, and I think you touch on it perfectly, and I'll break it into a couple buckets. If you are fully free to play, and I get this question literally daily in every channel you can imagine, it's can I get all the characters if I'm free to play? Guys, the answer is no. Unless your luck is ungodly, you will not get every limited character, period. Especially if you also want weapons. And so, do I think gacha games need to make it so you get every character? No, I don't know. Maybe Ethereum Restart's the first one I think has a real shot at that. But I think most gacha games, you're going to be missing out on a couple. This one, I think you're
Yeah.
going to be missing out on a lot more than a couple. I think
I
that's the
mean,
reality.
it's not only are you going to miss out on characters, you're going to have, that's assuming you get zero of the weapons as
Hmm.
well.
Yes.
That's an assumption. You're not going to get any of the weapons. Maybe you'll get one every couple months or something with a lucky couple polls they send you. But
Yeah.
I get that question too. And the exact comment was like, it's like, can I get every character? I mean, I know Fox is coming up and I already have 80 polls saved up. And I'm like, you're not even expected to get one copy of Fox and 80 polls.
Hmm.
Let alone, are you going to get 80 more polls when the next character comes out? Probably not. Like, you would have to have insanely good luck forever. Eventually, someone's like, you're on the bad end of luck. So it's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
impossible without being that one in a 100,000. And there will be, because there's enough players.
Yeah.
One person will be that person, but it's
They
like
get it
literally
every 10
one playing the
yeah.
game.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, even if you were, let's say you skipped Yui, let's say you skipped Fox because you heard they're not, total meta. Maybe you choose to pull from Makoto because she's the first like super nuker. And then you're like, okay, I'll skip the standard banner characters, whatever. Then you have Cord, Summer Closer, Summer Moko, which is a skip if you're not getting Haru. I'd probably say you want her if you want Haru. Mesa may be a skip, but then you have Futaba, Haru, Figure Skater Mont. What? Then you have Kasumi, Chinese New Year Rin comes out. And like it just keeps going. And like every character that's launched for like the P3R and now Barry is like a quote unquote most pull according to the community. And so even if you just look at the 2.0 characters, there's so few like obvious skips that you just don't have the gem currency income unless you're paying for it. And even then, it's not a great value to guarantee you're going to get all these characters. And to your point, just definitely not without the weapons. You do have more flexibility if you get like the monthly gem pass and maybe a cheaper pack or two, but not enough to close the full limited gap. And so I think from the free to play perspective, right off the bat, you have to temper your expectations and say, hey, I know I can't get absolutely everybody. Maybe I should pull for my favorites. Maybe I should do this other stuff and not worry about every single meta character because you are eventually going to miss one. I want to prep the community for that. You eventually are not going to get your Cord or your Futaba or your somebody later on down the future. And if you're one of the ones that's saving up for an A6 anybody, you're skipping 6 characters. Like that's the expectation you should be putting in your head is you're skipping 6 characters to get to an A6.
Yeah, well, you're skipping 6 characters that you could have gotten,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like because you have to get 7 total copies of this character. So it's like it's that is I would argue that there is not they're never gonna release a character where an A6 is better than having 7 different characters. But
No.
maybe I'm wrong, but like you gotta be very good in every fight in the game always to
Yes.
replace 7 characters, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
and I think this is where the game is absolutely greedy. The you know, I think back to like say sort of Convallaria. If I wanted dupes on a character, I could farm them every day and get a few. What I forget
mhm.
what they called it. It was an item like a shard or something, and you could I think put 3 characters in there, and it took what like a couple months, and you would get a
I think
duplicate basically.
it took just about 3 months
Yeah,
to go from zero, from you pulled the character to max awakened,
yeah,
basically, or
yeah.
awareness, whatever it's called.
Yeah, and basically your pay to play option was you want to fast track that, and so you go for dupes. I like systems like that where it's like, okay, I have a, it's not fast, but I have a reasonable way to get to duplicates on XYZ character. Now on the standard banner, you kind of luck into pulling quite a few of those, but for your limiteds, like it's either when they come out or when they rerun. That's the only 2 times. And even when they add in the feature to where I always forget what it's called, but basically the one where you send people on timed missions and they just
Hmm.
come back with items. I checked my KR account today just to see. I'm at 59 of 60 shards, and it takes 60 shards to do 1 duplicate. And this is from my entire time
Wow.
playing KR. Now, I've probably missed some in there. Maybe I could have gotten to 72, right? But it definitely was not 120. So their
Yeah.
one version of doing this for free just doesn't, I mean, they would have been better off not having it in some regard, in my opinion, because it feels bad. And it's the same with the weapons. Like, if you want a maxed out weapon, you're going deep and you can't even do the guarantee. You're going to have to 50-50 that quite a few times. So I think right there, they really do separate the whale from the free to play or even the, you know, the low to mid spender like maybe I am. And I think the other place they really, really suffer on being greedy is just general rewards. I think we're all coming to the point now that, as I've been saying since before day one, the material crunch is real. Like if you're trying to
Hmm.
level this horizontal, you know, grouping of units, it's really hard to do. It's very hard to do.
It's you once you hit, I think Wonder level 50 is the first
Hmm.
time people are awakened to it.
Yep.
It gets doubly worse at Wonder level 60, and I'm
Wait till
sure
70.
quadruply worse at 70. Like it becomes asinine
Yeah.
base. But like you really do start feeling it at 50, where the first time you go to level up something, you have no Kompaku gems. You're like, what the hell?
Yep.
What do you mean I don't have Kompaku gems? Where did my 6 million go? You
I,
know, it's like
I
gone.
literally thought about the Kambaku gems today enough that I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I have a video specific to that, and I think I scheduled it for maybe Monday or Tuesday. I think, yeah, I'd have to double check. Let me look at my schedule. It's scheduled for Tuesday while I'm on vacation, so keep an eye out for it. But like, it's such a problem that I actually sat down and like thought of what is the best way I can even think to try to help solve this thing. But yeah, it's like your resources go away, and it's part of why I tell people not to get too heavily invested in cards right now, because
Hmm.
those eat Kompaku gems like you don't understand. And so when you want to do the yellow ones or gold, whatever orange color they call it, like you're going to go through so many gems trying to level those cards up, like it's unreal. So yeah, save your resources, friends. But anytime I look at like, I don't know, like this double XP event, not XP, but this double material event, like what a perfect time to help people solve that and have some goodwill. Like, why limit it at 4? Like, I don't even care that it's one less than
Or
before. Like, there's just easier ways to make that system so much better.
and they they cap it at 4, and then they're like, hey, don't worry, we'll give you, which costs 120 stamina to even to partake in,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
they give you like a 60 stamina rebate with the coffee. But it's like, could you at least give us 2 coffee to make it free?
Yeah,
Couldn't
yeah.
you at least, instead of 4, could you make it 40? I don't know, like I or something, or 10. I don't know, it just seems so like low. I've been running more than 8 of these a day anyway, so it
Yeah.
feels like I'm not getting that much more in
No,
general.
and I think like other things that kind of make it stupid to me is, not to be too harsh, but you've got like limits on how many Kompaku gems you can get a day. And the XP you get
Yes.
for beating enemies is absolute garbage. Like, why wouldn't they? and this doesn't change, guys. This is the same in the servers as far as I'm aware, unless the newest patch changed it everywhere. Like, why can't I get Ryuji or whoever from like a 10 to a 20 beating relatively close level enemies? And maybe I have to grind it. Maybe it's not a 10-minute thing. Maybe it's like, hey, in between content cycles, I'm going to grind this out. And if I choose to grind it out, I'm getting more of these materials. But instead, it's
Yeah,
like, no, you have to farm it with stamina.
because I did the math and it was like in order to get from 53 to 57 on one of my characters, it would have taken a full week of getting max experience on that character every single day.
Oof.
Right? It's like 53 to 57 or something. So and that is with max every day for it was between 5 or 7 days. I don't remember if it was a work week or a full week. And then it's like if I want to sit and if I decide I want to waste my life spending 5 hours to grind Kompaku gems, why can't I get 50,000 in a day instead of
Oh, yeah.
10,000? It's not like you're getting a lot. 10,000, that's not even enough to level up one gold card
Yeah.
to like level 15, let
Yeah.
alone 25. So I don't know why it's such a low amount on that, where it's like what didn't feel that low at like level 20, but now at like level 60, I'm like, this is literally a waste of time. I would be way more productive to go get a part-time job and then come back and just spend an
buy
extra
some,
10
yeah.
bucks in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, and yeah, I mean, and I guess I meant to switch to the positive side at this point, but I'm going to do one more negative thing, and it is the cash shop. And it's a gripe I have with all gacha games. Oh, almost all gacha games. I think Final Fantasy Record Keeper maybe was the one that did this the best. They don't give you like the $1 to $3 to $5 incentives where it's like, oh, you know, I'm close to pity and I can just go buy this $3 pack and I'm there. Right. I mean, you could argue the crystals, but the crystal shop value in this game is trash. Your first crystal bonus is always good in all these games, but then after that, like, it's not that great. But
Yep.
like, they could honestly, they could milk me for quite a bit more money, frankly, if their sets were just a little bit more reasonably priced. And I'm not talking like it doesn't have to be super cheap. Like they've got to make their money. And I know that's going to piss off some people that I'm going to say that. But if we want this game to live, some people have to spend money. But you know, the card, the monthly card that I'm showing on my screen right now, like that's a good value. Like that's a good one. Like have
we didn't
more
even
stuff in
talk
that
about
realm.
the half of 5-star weapon. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh,
that
yes.
pisses me
The
off.
battle pass. Yeah, you pay the battle pass to get half of a weapon. Like, just give one weapon. I mean, 'cause you're still waiting 30 to 40 days. It's not like you get it on day one. So you're waiting till you clear out your level 50.
I just got level 50 today, and the game's been out almost a month now, I think. Not quite. Maybe it's like 3 weeks, something like that. But it's like I just got level 50 today. I have a 5-star weapon selector from doing polls before I have it from the battle pass.
Yeah.
It's just I just half of a weapon. It also like I'm pretty sure the weapon shop doesn't even have the newest weapon in it. It doesn't even have like the brand new shiny current banner. I think they have to
No.
leave the current banner pool too.
Yeah, that won't come. That won't come till later. The 4 stars in there, but definitely not the 5-star. I know this because I looked earlier today.
Yep.
Yeah. So look, before we bring all the pitchforks out from all the community that might be upset about some of these things, I do want to spin it to the positive. There is a ton of content, and yes, if you want to consume it in the span of 3 days, then it's going to go away quicker. But if you really think about how many hours you've played, if you finish both palaces, all the mementos, you've been driving your velvet room, you've been doing the guild bosses every week, you've been doing SOS every week, and now you're doing the train. If you're playing that at a normal kind of, you know, pace, like you still have your life outside, you're going to school or work or whatever, you know, you maybe haven't finished all those things yet in the time that the game has been out. And that's all free content that you can do with the pulls that you get for free without spending any money. There's a lot to be said about that. And it's a very, I think, good looking game. It's not like a trash game that looks like an obvious like cash cow, like steal it from the community type of a thing. So I think they do give you quite a bit.
100%. I mean, the gameplay is fantastic. It's the best. You know, you can call it a mobile game. I even put mobile game in parentheses, kind of when I talk about it. But it's like it's easily the best like mobile game I've played. It's fun with a good story and visually is very good. And there's so much content. That's why I say it's like literally the most free to play game I've ever played because you get so much for $0.
Yep.
It just also you don't get that much with your money. So it's like it's both of those things.
Yeah. When I do, I unfortunately I know there's going to be people that leave the game before it ever happens, but the quality, as good as it is now, it just gets better at 2.0 when we start getting the next palace. Like there is an absolute shift. And somebody told me, and not like I've validated it on my own, but it looks like the person that wrote the P5R scenario is the person who then took over the writing for the palaces post the palace we just finished. So from Palace 3 on. And I mean, I remember telling you even before this game launched, I'm like, you notice it in Palace 3. Like you everything's kind of like, it's good. It's never bad. You know, you had some funny meme parts like the Subway Slammer. But at Palace 3, the story starts getting much better. And it's people are going to leave before that happens. And I find that that's unfortunate for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought P5 Royale was even the new segments, like they weren't my favorite part of the game. But I will say it's pretty hard to have a completed game and then kind of try to shovel in an expansion of like extra added on content.
Yeah.
So I think they did like a remarkably good job given the task. And I really actually, yeah, I liked it a lot. So I'm excited. I already like the story, and apparently it just gets better, which
Oh, yeah.
is fantastic.
And I have not played Palace 4, but from what I've heard from friends, it's even better than Palace 3. So, I mean, obviously everyone's going to have their own taste. I can't say that everything is to everyone's liking and you know, whatever. But if there's hope that it's even better than Palace 3, and I love Palace 3, like, sign me up. I will
Yeah,
take that.
that can't come soon enough. I'm so like, look, I've said some mean things I feel like about the game, but like I'm playing every day and I am eagerly awaiting
Hmm.
even more content.
Yeah.
I am so excited because the game is so fun to play, which is a very important part of a video game that
Yes.
people tend to forget about in the gotcha space.
Well, and I mean, that's spot on. And I think, you know, I was looking at the fact of like, how do I play this game now versus KR and everything else? And I'm like, I'm going to be out of service for a few days on my vacation. I will not be able to log into the game unless I find like that one spot in the ether that like gets the signal to my phone just perfectly. Like I'm not gonna be able to play. And I'm like, forgetting about the gems I'll lose for that and like the dailies and the leveling, like I'm just bummed I don't get to play. Like I have fun playing the
Hmm.
game. And then, you know, I did more of the meta on KR. Like I listened to the community and I got Cord and I got Futaba and I got this person and I got that person. And yeah, that's fun. Look, I'm not going to say that's not fun. It is fun to go into content and destroy it sometimes. But I also had a couple of the non-meta units that I started enjoying. And now I'm having fun playing Yui. And I know she's not everyone's cup of tea. That's perfectly fine. And I am very much like, I think Fox is one of my most hype pulls right now. And I know that he's great in his content cycle and then he's considered not meta after that, but I don't care. Like the game allows you to have fun. And I don't want people to forget that. Like you don't have to be, you know, the meta slave as I call it.
Yeah, it's like clearing content is important, obviously, but like having fun doing it, like that's why it's like, well, Platt, why did you when you fought the palace boss, why'd you use all 4 stars? I'm like, I don't know, because I could.
Yeah.
I I wanted to use Sumi, whatever, Winboy, and Soy because I like them, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the game allows me to do that. I didn't need like it's not like the sort of Convallaria thing where not only do you need the specific characters unofficially, but everything's a puzzle on top of that where you have
Yes.
to like move to this exact square and use this exact skill and then hit the so this game is much more flexible and it allows you just to have fun. And there is the challenging stuff there for people that want to
Oh,
do it, you
yes.
know,
Yes.
min-maxing numbers. So I think this game strikes a really good balance
It does.
for meta lovers and just like character collectors.
You know what I did today? And this is going to sound ridiculous, but I did it for fun and because I wanted the gems. Is you know how in the train you have to have parties that have two of the same elemental unit?
Yep, yep,
Well,
yep.
I don't have Rin. And I've not leveled, was it Seji, the other curse dealer?
Oh,
And
oh,
so,
Sumi, yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah. So I went to difficulty 4, which is the highest reasonable one for my level right now. And I put a level 10 Sumi in there. He was laying on the ground every battle after the first attack because that spiral, whatever the hell it's called, like would kill him. And
Yep.
I was like, you know how I'm going to get by this? I'm going to build the merciless heal set that allows my overhealing to become a nuke. And I'm going to make Minami my main DPS. And this boy
That's right.
can lay on the floor as long as he wants. And it took me forever because I couldn't insta kill anything because my level was collectively too low because of it. And so I had to fight every freaking battle. And I'll tell you, it was a little bit painful until I got those 4 cards. But I had a ton of fun not having Rin, not having the full meta on that particular challenge, and churning Minami into a nuke. Like, there's so many things that you can do in this game like that you don't have to play the meta. But you are right. Like, if you want to do number 1 guild boss score, yes, of course the meta is going to win that. But just take that out for a minute and think about the whole wide rest of the game. There's so much more to it.
Yeah, 100. Like, one, I think it's pointless to aim for number 1 on the leaderboards because only one will ever have that. Only one guild will ever have that. You're either in that guild or you're not. And chances are, since it's 30 people, you're not in that guild.
Yeah.
So even if you want to be in the top 100, that's 300 accounts, right? And the chances are none of us are in the top 300 accounts because there's a lot of people that are playing this game. So it's like, at that point, if you're not in the top 100, like, do you really care about being 400 or 350 or whatever? Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't care and you shouldn't strive to get your best number because it's fun, but you really should focus on having the most amount of fun and then doing your best with what you have, instead of just only doing whatever you can with the meta while not spending any money at all, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny because, like, to talk about the meta, I'll give the other anecdote that I had. So, and you saw this in our guild chat the other day. So for everyone that doesn't know, my iPhone, the screen is too small for my eyes when I play the game, and it's an older one, so like the resolution is trash. And so I went into the second guild boss, and I wasn't thinking about it. I saw the little icon for the weakness, and my brain was like, "Oh, that's Curse. Go run your Joker team." And I borrowed someone's
it was fire, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fire. And so I was like, I couldn't get out of the top 30%, and I'm like, I know I'm a better player than this. Like, I've got the knowledge. I'm borrowing a decent Rin. My Joker, I mean, he doesn't have any like awarenesses or anything, but he was decent enough. I'm like, there's no reason I should be this low. And so I was talking on the day that it was like the last day, and the guild is like, you know, this is fire, right? And I'm like, son of a gun. And I went back and I got like a top 4% score with freaking on. But I will tell you, like, trying to up my score with the wrong team, I still had a ton of fun with that. Like, that was actually enjoyable. It was again, it's like, how can I get, you know, 500,000 more points? How can I get 1,000,000 more points? And then, like, I've been trying to challenge Nightmare at level 60, and that's what, level 78 enemies. And I'm able to do it on my Yui team, and I'm like so close to doing it on my Joker team.
Yeah, Marion will help you get through that for sure, but it's still rough, even though I'm like level 67 or something, right? And it's still rough. I still have a hard time on challenge sometimes.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it sounded like we were coming in super hot negative, and for those of you that were kind enough to stay all the way to the end of this podcast today, you know that, and I don't want to speak, you know, for Platypus, but I think I can on this point. We love the game. We have fun with it. Him and I are in the same guild. We talk in Discord, and, you know, we're always chatting about, you know, a lot of the good positive stuff. You know, we're not going to sugarcoat it and like put our heads in the sand and say that there's, you know, absolute perfection here and nothing is wrong. But I don't think that this game is at any risk of burning down. I don't think that the game is going to meet everyone's expectations tomorrow or on the next live stream either. And I think it's going to need some room to grow. But I can also tell you that if you look at the other versions, it has always consistently gotten better over time. And the game had complaints even from the CN client in this first series of patches. It was not perfect on day one for CN either. Now, is that an excuse for them not to make some changes and fixes? No, I'm not excusing the company from things that they could look at historically and be like, hey, we could have done this better. But I will say that a lot of the pitchforks and fires are probably, like, they could come down a little bit. And trust me, if you let some of that go, you're just going to have more fun. And so why not give yourself the freedom and the grace to just enjoy yourself? Like, why get caught up in the bad hype?
100%. Like, if you want to, like, what I encourage is, if you're really, really upset with whatever, you know, the Marion not being on the thing, they said they'll do something, who knows exactly what. But it's like, I don't say quit the game necessarily. I say just don't spend on the game.
Absolutely.
I think that's the most effective way to make change. Because if they see, you know, let's say 80% of players quit, they're going to shut the game down. If they see that they have 100% of their same players and spending has dropped a lot, they know everyone is just waiting to spend until they make some better decisions, and then the money will start flowing again. So it's like, having a big player base that isn't spending is a very clear sign that there's still a lot of money for them to make. and then they'll improve things. Whereas people quitting the game means the game is not doing as well, and they're less they might make some changes to try to save it, but it's not as strong of a message of a direction that we want the game to go in, I don't
Yeah.
think. And it could lead to the wrong thing where they try to extract more money from the people still willing to spend.
Yes, yes, yes. I think, you know, if I could ask my community for anything other than for them to go like and sub on your channel for your birthday, it would
Thank you,
be
please.
check out 2.0. I know we have a couple patches before then. I personally am looking forward to the next couple patches. I got Fox and Queen, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of their content cycles. But give yourself 2.0. If you get through the first half of Palace 3 and everything that comes with 2.0, and you still see no hope for this game, you know what? You gave it a good shot. You tried your best to enjoy it, whatever. But to per platypus's point, don't spend money in between. If you're not, if you're on the fence, then yeah, speak with your wallet. Absolutely. Also, don't, and maybe I'm saying this from a personal standpoint, don't beat up content creators that spend money on the game. Know that some of us just enjoy it, and some of it is because we can't get characters to give you content on if we don't spend our money.
And
To be
some of
completely
it
honest.
is some people forget, like, and I don't make that much money on YouTube, right? Like, we don't need to get into
No.
it, but the point is like, when I spend in this game, it is a tax write-off at the end of the year, which does not mean that it doesn't cost me money. Tax write-offs is not free money. But when I spend $100, it is not the same as someone spending $100 of pure disposable income. This is coming out of so it's like, I try to preface that when I do like poll videos or something. I'm like, yes, I'm spending money, but keep in mind this is not the same ratio as if you spend this kind of money as well. This is mostly, it's all being paid for by YouTube, and it doesn't actually cost me as much because it becomes non-taxed income essentially as a business expense. So,
Uh, See, I'm still not listed under a business, so mine is still a personal expense.
so Bear is different. Bear is a
Yeah,
whale.
my,
All
my
right.
mine is truly let me spend my ramen lunch money. Guys, ramen noodles is my favorite food, just FYI. And so yeah, so I'm spending my lunch money, so to speak, to fund my habit here. So but yeah,
What kind of ramen? Like fancy restaurant or like
oh
top ramen?
no. I like a good bowl of tonkatsu ramen, so like your traditional kind of pork ramen, a little bit of
There's almost
spice up
none
in
of those
there.
restaurants around here that do that. There's a couple, but they're hard to, one, they're always expensive. There's never like, oh,
It's like
because I want to go to like a beef bowl
$12.
shop. I'm working at all the beef bowl
Yes.
shops in this game. I want to go to a beef bowl shop. There's none around here. There's a couple ramen places, and I'm like, Naruto could not afford this. What are you
No,
talking
no.
about?
There's one down the street from my house, and you guys have no idea how much ramen I've eaten in my life. And it's one I actually think is really good. And it's, I think, between $12 and $15, depending on if you add like extra like egg or anything like that. And like I'll take my kids there every once in a while, and it is like, ooh, oh, it's so good. You know what? I might
I,
have to go there tomorrow for lunch before I go on
I think I'm
vacation.
gonna go I'll get ramen for lunch tomorrow. There's a place
Fly
called
out here.
like Sushi Burrito and Ramen, and it has pictures of Naruto eating ramen on the wall. And I was like,
Perfect.
I want this. I want
Yes.
show you ramen.
Well, if you ever make it to my neck of the woods, I'll take you out for a bowl by me. But look,
All right, perfect, perfect.
guys, let's wrap this one up. We're not going to tease next week's topic. We'll figure it out as we go. But look, I love the game. Don't take my constructive criticism or points that I may have even came across as negative as a dislike or a doom and gloom or end of service. I honestly believe this game will be here for a few years to come. I think it's going to get better because I can look at the history of how it got better. And I think they will listen. I think they will make changes. It's not going to happen overnight. I think you guys need to temper expectations and give it until about that 2.0 space. But if you're willing to sit with us, remain in the community, play the game together, I think you're going to have a great time. And it's only going to get better. But that's my final thoughts for Platypus.
Yeah, again, it kind of is a repeat of last week in the sense, but it's like people that aren't in the Discords, aren't on the Reddits, are just playing the game, are really happy with the game. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm just having a lot of fun. It's when you go on to all these things and see other people negative of posting about things that we could have gotten or should have gotten, that it kind of starts to affect your view of the game as well. And not that there's inherently anything wrong with that, but I really do want to encourage people to just like not necessarily go with the crowd, just form your own opinions. If you're having a good time, just this is a video game. It should be entertainment first and foremost. It's not about extracting the most amount of value out of a gacha system. It's meant to just be played and have fun. So try to extract the most amount of fun you can out of the game instead of the most amount of pulls, I would say.
Yes, agreed, agreed. Well, all right, my friends, with that, let's bring it to a close as I take a beautiful picture in game of apparently Minami and Yui. I'm playing with the camera mode. I think I've never actually played with this before. You can even give it like a retro vibe and a fairy tale. But my friends, until our next podcast, please, please take care of yourselves. Platypus?
And the perplatypus is perplatypus. Bye.
Take care, everybody.